Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Dinkytown Sports. Today, we make our predictions for the conference championship games. Enjoy.
And welcome back to the Dinkytown Sports Podcast. Back to the two-host system with me and Christian here. Welcome back, buddy. Good to see you.
It's better this way.
Well, I mean, Cam's got an excuse. He's back in Minnesota seeing family, so he's got none of his stuff. But
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
yeah, I don't know what Zach's up to tonight, but he's got his picks in, so we'll go over everyone's picks together and talk about some games. I mean, there's not a ton of games to pick from this week, obviously, but we can sit and definitely talk about that and the playoff picture.
Let's mull them over.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we're just going to hop in first here. Give me 1 second. There we go. Now I can see everything. All right. So we're going to get the first two games here out of the way pretty quick because they start in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta get them in.
Yeah. It's UNLV at Boise State.
Also, to preface, we missed the Conference USA kickoff, so we're just gonna let that lie.
Yeah.
So whoever wins, Jacksonville State or Western Kentucky.
Congrats, I guess.
Yeah, congrats.
I don't think I've ever watched a CUSA football championship game. I've watched the MAC, I've watched, Mountain West, I've watched all those, but CUSA, not really.
Yeah, according to Ethan, the reporter, Jacksonville State's head coach is going to West Virginia, was it, for 10 years? So we had a troll.
Good luck to them, I guess.
If you didn't see that, that's a lie. I don't know that that's happening.
All right, trolls, keep commenting. I love it.
Yeah. We'll take
the love and
engagement.
Yeah. We'll sit and laugh about it. It's cool. All right, so first game, we got UNLV at Boise State. I'm pretty sure that they actually play home games, too, for their conference championship in the Mountain West.
It would seem that way. Albertson Stadium in Boise, yeah.
Yep. So this is a true home game for Boise State. They're favored by 4 points, and the over-under is set at 57.5. I'm going to start out with this one. Boise State's at home. Ashton Jeanty's a beast. And if they sell out to stop Jeanty, Maddox is good enough to make him pay a little bit for it.
Do you see his numbers this year?
I have not seen his numbers this year.
He's got 2,500 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, and only 3 picks. He's having a really good
so he is
year.
playing well.
Yeah.
I call that the Ashton Jeanty effect, too. Because when they're putting 8 in the box, it makes it a lot easier to throw the ball.
Yeah, just hit your guy. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm going to take Boise State -4 here. On our sheets, we had some technical difficulties. Zach and Cam's all came up bold.
It's fine. It's easier to read that way, actually.
True. All right, who do you got in this one?
I'm not so confident in just like an outright like Boise State's gonna blow them out of the water kind of deal. I've been thinking about this game more than most of them because I'm not really sure what kind of UNLV we're gonna get because they've been on a really good run and they only lost by 5 in their last matchup, and
that was at UNLV.
Yeah, so there's that to take into account, but this is the conference championship game. Everything else is out of the window. You're getting the best version of both of these teams, or you're hoping to at least. And I actually am pretty high on Haj Malik Williams. I think he's been really, really good post Matthew Sluka.
See you later, Sluka.
Yeah, who's in the transfer portal now, I believe.
Shows how important he was. Didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah, 10-2. They lost one. Did they lose one with Sluka and then they lost to Boise State?
I think so.
No. They lost to overtime and to Syracuse, who was ranked now
at the time. Yeah.
So both their losses are ranked. So
yeah, and they're close losses too. Yeah. It's not like they're blowing out or anything.
This is a good team. Very easily could have ended up undefeated here. The over-under is intriguing because I think more points than this are going to be scored. I think this is going to be just a slugfest.
Yeah, I've noticed that some of these over-unders are kind of low.
So, because I'm not sure, I think either team could win this. I'm just going to go with the over here, I think. Over hasn't worked out for me ever, but I'm going for it anyway.
Last week, none of the overs hit, so bold choice.
It's due then. We're due for some overs.
You would think. Zach is the best one at picking the over and unders, and even he's not the greatest at it, so. But he hits on more of them than any of us, so.
Yeah, so all three, Cam and Zach went Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a pick of the week if we wanted it to.
Yeah. We could put it out there, but it's going to be over by the time we put that out, so. Or during the game.
Yeah, we have our social media manager has been lackadaisical, to say the least.
Well, we're doing it the night before now, so when by the time she gets it edited and out, it's just.
Well, a good social media manager would have it out like live. So.
Wow.
So if you're watching this,
right.
Your salary's on the line, pal.
Yeah, her whole $0.00. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, up next we got Tulane at Army. Tulane is favored by 5.5. Army is ranked 24th. And the over-under is set at 45.5. I'll let you go first on this one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Army is on their fall off here, and the spread reflects that. I think Tulane is a good team. I think they're closer to Notre Dame's skill level than any other team that Army has played besides Notre Dame. So I think they're going to have a hard time here. I've been high on Army all year, and it's a good story, and I hope they do win, but I don't see Tulane falling apart here. They've been a good program for a few years now, and
yeah,
and even at West Point, I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem. So give me Tulane -5.5.
So I'm actually going to see. Part of me wants to take the over because I know Army can put up some points, like even if they lose.
It's a trap, dude. Look, Zach and Cam both took it.
I know. That's why I'm debating on this here. Because to me, Tulane -5.5 makes sense. I mean, Army's kind of been ever since the Notre Dame game, kind of not as great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Notre Dame put stuff on film for other teams to see.
Look what Tulane did to Navy. Two weeks
yeah, but
ago.
I don't know. But Army and Navy haven't played yet, so I can't use Navy as a.
It's a similar offense, though. So
is true.
They can handle their scheme.
That is true. I'm gonna. You know what? I'll go Tulane -5.5 here as well.
Oh, it's not gonna happen.
You talked me into it, and that's never a good thing because whenever we talk someone into our pick, we always lose. So. Yeah. I'll take Tulane -5.5. You make a good point about the Navy thing. I think Army does have the better quarterback, like throwing wise. Obviously, he doesn't get to throw the ball a ton.
They're not going to get shut out.
Triple option, but
like
no, yeah, for sure.
I think
Army is better than Navy, so yeah, I'll take Tulane -5.5 here. I think that's okay. All right, so now we can actually slow down a little bit and actually talk about some of these games because now we're starting to get to one of the important ones. We got Iowa State at Arizona State. I'm not sure where the Big 12 championship gets played because I'm not a Big 12 fan, but
they're at Cowboys Stadium.
Oh, they still play in Texas?
Yeah, in Arlington.
Interesting. Well, I suppose that's one of the only pro. Well, they can go to Ohio.
Why would the Big 12 go to Ohio?
Cincinnati's there.
Yeah, it's indoor. It's like the, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was just making a case.
They should just play at US Bank. Why don't they? Well,
they could.
The Big 10 should play at US Bank. I feel like that would be.
Yeah, great. I think that'd be great. But we still go to Indy. But I think that's going to change because the reason they had it in Indy because it was like halfway between everybody.
Now it doesn't.
But
matter.
now that we added those 4 West Coast schools, who knows where the Big 10 championship's going to be played? Personally, I would love to see it just kind of bounce between Minneapolis and Indianapolis. But anyways, moving on. Iowa State is favored by 1.5. The over-under set at 50.5. And I'm just going to run through Cam and Zach's here. Cam took Arizona State -1.5, -1.5. Zach took Iowa State plus 1.5. He loves Iowa State. He's an Iowa State fan, so I can't really
I
be
won't
mad
fault
at.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would choose my team too if they're in the conference championship. So, um, hmm. And whenever I pick against the Gophers, it never works out for me anyway. So, but this one's interesting because if Iowa State can play more like they did at the beginning of the year, this is going to be a really, really good football game. If Iowa State plays like they did at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, I think Arizona State kind of runs away with it
Mm-hmm.
because Scatabo is a beast. So, like, you have him. Their defense is pretty dang good. And Iowa State, I don't know what's been up with them, but they've kind of fallen off a cliff too. Started out hot, took that one. They have what, two
Two
losses?
losses, yeah.
Yeah, they took those two
They lost
losses
to
towards the
Tech
end of
and
the year.
Kansas back to back.
And I can't really be upset about the Kansas thing because they beat three straight ranked teams. They finally figured out it was football season over there, I guess. So that was interesting. But Kansas turned it on at the end of the year, so that one's a little bit tougher to like decide because they did beat three pretty good teams back to back to back. But I'm gonna have to stick with Arizona State on this one. More so because I have been picking them quite a bit and they've been hitting. And also I think Arizona State is just the more consistent team. And they've been more consistent throughout the year. Like I know they have their losses, but Iowa State's been up and down and all over the place, even when they win.
Mm-hmm.
So give me Arizona State minus 1.5 here.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. I think Arizona State has just been a little more dominant. You can see how to beat Iowa State. The formula's out there to beat Iowa State. I think they're a little one-dimensional. I don't think they run the ball that well, and Arizona State is just really good across the board. Their defense probably isn't fantastic, but I think they'll do enough to stop Iowa State. So I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take Arizona State minus 1.5 here.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Iowa State winning it, like I said, if they play like they did more towards the beginning of the year. Like if they played against Iowa, slowing down Caleb Johnson. But the problem is Arizona State can actually throw the football too.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Iowa, where if you stuff the run, they're pretty much dead in the water. So, but I'll take it. Yeah, I think this is a decent line.
It's a tough
like
one.
I said,
Yeah.
It just depends on what Iowa State team shows up. So I'm just hoping for some good games this weekend, though, man. Conference championship week, love some good conference championship football games. All right, up next, one that's not so important, and it's an Ohio Bowl. You got Ohio. Awesome. Yeah, you have Ohio taking on Miami of Ohio. Cam and Zach obviously have no idea about these two teams because they both took the over. And I was in the spreadsheet while they were putting them in. They were like flying through the sheet.
Yeah.
So I don't think they know which team they want in this one. So they're just going to be safe and take the over because it's Maction.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm actually going to pull up ESPN on this one because I do want to make an educated guess here.
Miami of Ohio is favored in the matchup predictor. They're favored in the line here, so it's looking like there's a bit of a consensus on who's better.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Bobcats have been better for longer in terms of the program. I think they're in a better spot. It's a neutral site. They're in Detroit. It's not like they're playing in Miami of Ohio's stadium. I forget what town they're in. I don't think it's called Miami, right?
I have no idea.
That's going to kill me. And Miami of Ohio has kind of been skating by. 8-4 in your conference championship game isn't that great. So then Ohio's just been killing everyone that they played. They blanked Kent State. Zach. Their defense has been stepping up. They have been scoring points, and they haven't been giving up points. So I'm just going to roll with Ohio.
Mm.
Plus 2.5. Yeah, that works for me. Or should I just take the money line for the better odds here?
I'd probably just take the money line. If it's that close, I'd take the money line for better odds.
Yeah.
So I looked this up because we were confused. Their stadium is in Oxford, Ohio.
Oxford, right.
So, yeah, because I guess I never really knew their town name either. But once again, this is MACtion, and we very rarely talk about MAC teams on this show. So it's just conference championship week. There's not many games, so we get to hop around and pick some teams that we haven't seen play all year.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah, I mean, Ohio's been absolutely running through the MAC. They blanked Kent State. Miami beat Kent State 34-7.
They played head to head already, and Miami of Ohio won. So that makes me think that Ohio is going to win even more.
How much did they win by?
10. So not like crazy. It was 30-20. Let me see if there's any garbage time.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, they got killed. Ohio scored all their points basically in the fourth. So.
Oh, in the garbage time. Okay, so taking all that in, I think Miami of Ohio has better quarterback play. To me, it looks like they have the better running back. 159 carries for 1,045 yards, 4 tutties. I mean, he only has 4 touchdowns, but their running back has 25 more carries and has like 85 less yards.
Mm-hmm. So
that just shows me that I think that Miami of Ohio just has the edge in a lot of places. It looks, and I mean, the analytics shows that, yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Miami of Ohio here.
Oh, wait, hold on. News. Parker Navarro only played like half the game. So Ohio's quarterback got benched in this game, I'm guessing?
It means he didn't play very well.
Yeah, so but he started the rest of the year out.
See, Miami didn't play Ohio. Oh yeah, they did. They won 30-20. Sorry, I looked at it wrong. They have another score where they lost 30-20.
I'm just gonna stick with it. You know what? It's MACtion.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Miami of Ohio just from the things that I have already stated. That I think they have the better quarterback and running back. Stats wise, anyways, obviously that doesn't mean a ton if you can't score in the red zone. And I'm kind of assuming that since they only have 4 rushing touchdowns this season. So yeah, I'm gonna take Miami of Ohio minus 2.5 here. And once again, if we get these games wrong, we know hardly anything about these teams. So we're just looking through their stats and being box score merchants here.
That one I don't care about as much. The rest we should be on in Marshall, Louisiana.
The Marshall, Louisiana one could be interesting. I think Louisiana's a better team because I've actually
okay. Let's get there then. Next up.
All right, Georgia at Texas. I didn't put the rankings in because it's conference championship week. Don't really care if you win, you're in for most of these teams if you're Power 4. So.
And if you lose, you're in. If in this case.
Yeah. Same with Penn State. Probably the same with the Penn State and Oregon game as well. We'll get into that after we get done with the picks. So, Christian, you are the SEC man. You get to take this one first.
This one's going to be interesting because what do you get? Do you get Texas that played Georgia already this year and lost, or do you get the Texas that is tuned up? You got Sark cooking. They're in Atlanta. They're in Bryant-Denny East. So it'll be an interesting one. I'm not too high on either of these teams, so I'm feeling the under in this one, honestly. 49.5 feels pretty high.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking this could end up like 24-17 or one of those kinds of scores.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning into.
Like Beck's quarterback play has been just horrendous in the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm. How's yours been doing?
I mean, yours has been okay. Not really that great either, but he hasn't been turning the ball over as profusely as Beck has.
Yeah.
the A&M game that Texas just played, I wasn't like astonished by how good they were.
Mm-hmm.
It was more kind of A&M shooting themselves in the foot most of the time and not really getting the ball moving. So
Yeah.
I'm either thinking I'm feeling Texas -2.5 or the under, and I'm just not quite sure what I want to go with here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? For the last week of the regular season, for the most part, technically, before
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot the under.
Wow. Um, let's see. For me, I've been kind of debating. Um, I kind of want to take Texas minus 2.5, and it's solely because Carson Beck has been playing so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I know as soon as I do that, Carson Beck's going to pull something out
Right.
and just absolutely dominate. If I pick the under, the over is going to hit by a point.
Yeah.
If I pick the over, the under is going to hit by a point. That's just how it works in my life. So I might as well. I'm just going to take Texas minus 2.5 here. I don't necessarily know who's the better team. I know Georgia beat them.
Yeah, I don't think there is a better team right now.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of a wash. And the line kind of shows that because it's in Georgia, and I know it's a conference championship, but it's still in Georgia, and Texas is still favored by 2.5. So take what you will with that. I'm gonna go Texas minus 2.5 here.
I don't blame you. That was my other one. I would have picked that if the under wasn't so enticing.
Yeah, and it's just solely because of the turnovers that Carson Beck has been having. Because that's a hard thing to like. Confidence is a hard thing to gain back once you've lost it.
Especially in a conference championship game, having
to
try and prove yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. More or less. Up next, this one doesn't matter in the CFP. It is Marshall at Louisiana. Randy Moss, great. Marshall, great. The line is Louisiana -6, and the over-under is set at 57.5. Cam took Marshall +6, and Zach took Louisiana -6. Once again, so I made the comment earlier that I've kind of followed some of Louisiana football, and it's solely because I have placed bets on them, and I think they hit from both, like every time I used them. I mean, they're 10-2, so more than likely. The matchup predictor on ESPN has the Cajuns, the Raging Cajuns, with a 60.4% chance to win, and Marshall with a 39.6. Their quarterback does not turn the ball over like at all for Marshall. 17 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's got 1431 for yards, but he looks kind of like a game manager, I guess.
Do they run a triple option or something?
Marshall? As far as I know, they didn't.
Because he has almost 600 rushing yards this year.
They might just run a lot of options too, like speed options and stuff, read options. That would explain why he doesn't have a ton of yards. I mean, he's 106 out of 180. It's not like he's atrocious, but anyways, AJ Turner has 104 carries, 864 yards, 6 touchdowns, and then Fitzpatrick has 32 receptions, 569 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And then it just looks like a difference in offense, so the stats aren't going to help me a whole lot here. Because Woldridge threw the ball, 91 more times, and he has 5 picks with 17 touchdowns. Their running back has 150 carries, 777 yards, 9 touchdowns, and then their best receiver has 44 catches, 733 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, just stat sheet reading, it looks like Marshall's way more efficient on offense. Doing less with more. Or doing more with less, sorry.
Yeah, and
I'm just going to rip my pick out because I know what I'm going
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm taking Louisiana, the formerly known as Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns. -6. It opened at -4. It's a little concerning. But yeah, I'm going to ride with that. They're at Cajun Stadium, so this is a true home game for them. So give me Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm going to take Louisiana as well. They did beat Wake Forest, who I know is not like a great team, but they're still Power 4. They lost by 8 to Tulane. They lost a 2 to South Alabama, but besides that, they've won most of their games by double digits.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, we're being stat sheet merchants for some of these games tonight. But I'm gonna take Louisiana -6 as well. What just happened? Sorry, technical difficulties over here.
What happened?
My computer's freaking out right now. It's fine. Yeah, I'll take Louisiana -6 here. I just had a bunch of pop-ups because I think I bumped a button or something. I don't know. I'm not tech literate. So, all right. So there that is. I don't know if we went over Zach and Cam's Georgia picks, but they both took Georgia +2.5. Up next, we got
interesting.
Yeah. I wonder why that is. Penn State at Oregon. We got Oregon favored by 3.5, and then the over/under is set at 50.5. And you're going to be surprised at what the picks are in this one. You have Cam taking Oregon -3.5, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a consensus. Besides Zach, who took Penn State +3.5, because Penn State's a great team who wins football games, just not against other great football teams. So, and no offense, if you want to be a great football team, you have to beat great football teams. I think they are a good football team. I don't think they are a great football team, and I will die on that hill, as Zach would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's kind of been even in the podcast group chat, me, you, and Cam have kind of been picking on Zach for thinking Penn State's a great football team and that they have a shot at all in this game. So
I feel like Zach's a contrarian at this point. He's just like everything he thinks is like against the
consensus
the prevailing opinion. Yeah, it's very interesting.
And that would be the reason why he's still sub 500 in the picks.
Yeah. Well, they're at Lucas Oil. They're inside. That lends itself to Oregon, in my opinion. And Dylan Gabriel throwing the ball around. I think if you're looking for any advantage, you would want to be outside for Penn State because I think their run game.
You want to be in the cold for Penn State.
Yeah, so you're not getting any advantage, I don't think, in terms of where you're playing. Penn State, the matchup predictor has Penn State favored. Ridiculous. I'm taking Oregon -3.5. And I think Oregon -3.5 is the easiest lock of all time, all locks ever.
I think that's the easiest pick we've had tonight.
Easiest pick we've had in a long time.
Yeah. But granted, we've said that about other picks and been completely wrong. So, because there is a chance that Penn State could upset Oregon. It is college football.
I don't even think so. I don't think unless Dylan Gabriel gets hurt, I don't think that there's a world where Penn State wins this game.
No, I'm just saying it's college football, and like we've seen teams that we would have never given a chance to beat. Like I didn't give a chance in heck or hell, if you want to get into it, for Michigan for Michigan to beat Ohio State last weekend, and that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So like, because to me that's as big of an upset as Penn State beating Oregon, because Michigan was not good. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm taking Oregon. Yeah, that was their Super Bowl.
That's a rivalry game. That's different. This is just two teams that have no previous relationship at a neutral site indoors.
Yeah.
Like this is as
I'm gonna take Oregon -3.5 though.
Yeah, this is as boiled down of like a game that you can get. You're getting exactly what you're gonna get. I think this is the perfect best team wins type of game, and I don't think Penn State is anywhere close to the best team in this matchup. So
either do I. I'm not saying when I said if Penn State beats Oregon, I don't think they're the better team, even if they do win. I mean, if they come out and beat them by 30, which isn't going to happen, then I'd have to walk that back a little bit. But
they could beat them by 30.
I mean, it's mathematically possible, right?
I don't think Penn State's going to be able to move the football at all.
No, I think Oregon has a good defense.
and Oregon's offense is more electric. I think they're more explosive. I don't know what Penn State's hanging their hat on.
See, with Oregon, the only question I would have with them, like throughout like Big Ten season, is if they had to go play like Wisconsin in November, Minnesota in November, Michigan in November.
Yeah.
And not because I don't think that Oregon's a better team, but they're a lot more predicated on speed. And when you're playing in the cold, you want some big boys. Like your running backs need to be thick. Your offensive linemen need to be huge. That would be like, that'd be the only advantage I'd give to those teams. But if you're playing indoors against Oregon or at Oregon, good luck, bud.
We're gonna look so stupid when Penn State wins.
Yeah.
This is gonna be so fun.
If Penn State wins this, you can clip us being dumb because we did it to Zach.
Yeah.
All right, so I got Clemson. Up next, we got Clemson at SMU. Another win and you're in, lose and you're out.
I disagree.
You think if SMU loses, they're still going to be in?
Yeah, I think that's what the whole world is hoping is going to happen, and I think that the committee's going to appease them because everyone freaked out about Alabama being in, and I think they're chomping at the bits to get Alabama out. So they're going to give, if Clemson wins, they're going to give SMU and Clemson the benefit of the doubt. Clemson's going to jump because they beat a good team, and SMU's only going to drop to 11 and bump Bama out.
So we will get there because we are going to talk about some scenarios because we're going to have time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, in this game, I'm taking SMU -2.5. I have seen Clemson play. They dominated one half against a not so great team and then completely fell apart the second half. I mean, they still won by like 20 something, but they had a 35-point lead at halftime.
You watched them week 2, bro. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, that was not week. Was that week 2
or 3? Yeah, one of them.
Holy crap.
Yeah, week 3.
Oh yeah, week 3. Yeah, I still don't think they're that good. Every good team they've played has beat them. So I'm gonna take the SMU -2.5. They've been good to me. So.
Yeah, SMU has the best defense in the ACC, and Clemson, when they play good defenses, falls apart. We just saw it against South Carolina. Even Louisville beat them pretty bad, and I don't think Louisville's defense is anything special. I don't think Klubnik is built for this. An interesting stat I saw was that Dabo is 8-1 in ACC championships, and he lost his first one, so he's won 8 straight that he's appeared in. That's pretty scary, but
the streak ends here.
Yeah, the streak ends here. I think SMU is actually just too good at this point.
Yeah.
They are outside in Charlotte. It's going to be a little cold. So I don't know. I think SMU is actually a good team. I think it's not like a fluke at this. I thought because last year they were pretty good too at the end of the year, right?
Well, didn't they lose or barely win against a bad team to start the year?
This year or last year?
This year. Were they the ones that played like Utah State or something and Utah State kept it close?
No, they played Nevada and lost by 5, or won by 5, sorry. But
yeah, that was the game where we kind of were maybe thinking the hype wasn't real.
They had a different quarterback for that game though. So
yeah,
once Jennings came in, they kind of ran the table except for the hiccup with BYU, but they were a good team. So
yeah,
especially early. So yeah, but just SMU has a top 20 defense. That's what I'm hanging my hat on here. I don't think that Clemson's going to be able to handle it. I think their pass rush is going to be really good, and Clemson is not ready for that. So SMU -2.5. That's a favorable line. I think that's a definite pick of the week and a definite parlay. Slot into a parlay.
All right, so Zach took SMU -2.5, and Cam took the over in this game. I don't think the over is going to hit just because of SMU's defense, unless they put up a ton of points, which could happen, I guess. I don't know. But before we move on, I was talking to my girlfriend today, and Timothy Chalamet was with the Gopher Marching Band.
Yeah,
awesome. Apparently that's a pretty big deal.
It is. He's the best.
I don't.
And he's
I don't
doing
follow
College
celebrities.
Game Day. Did you see that?
Oh no, I did not see that.
He's doing the
But
SEC championship game.
But see, I don't follow like.
Yeah,
like
you're too cool for the.
I like the movies they're in, but I couldn't
for the
give
tabloids.
I don't care about their life.
He's too busy for the He is portraying one of the great Minnesotans. You should be into that.
I have no idea what his next movie is. So
Bob Dylan documentary.
Oh, okay.
University of Minnesota student.
That explains why he's
student.
up here.
He was in Dinkytown. He posted a location. He was in Dinkytown at a theater or something, and they did the marching band thing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's at Vanderbilt tonight, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he's making his rounds on his way down to be the guest picker. I hope that he actually quietly follows college football and doesn't just go in and like just say things and guess. I wish he's quietly a fan, because that'd be really freaking awesome.
So Zach also just sent us a Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's watching the show, but he said Maddox Madsen is the only QB with 20 plus touchdowns and 3 or less picks.
Yeah, if only he knew how to spell.
Yeah. Yeah. He said TDs at the end. I'm assuming he meant picks. But
so he has the best touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah, if you've thrown for 20 touchdowns or more.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah, he's having a good year. I'm not going to argue that. So now we're just going to hop into the CFP rankings quick. We're going to wrap the show up with this so we can watch some football. We're just going to go over a few scenarios here because there's a lot, like chaos can ensue this weekend if upsets happen.
Right.
So Oregon, they're going to be in no matter what. Texas in no matter what. Penn State, more than likely in no matter what. Notre Dame's going to be in because they don't play in a conference championship. Georgia's more than likely going to be in. Ohio State's in. Pretty much the top.
A $300 travel credit.
Top 9-ish are going to be in for sure. But where it gets interesting is 10 through 12 here. Because you got Boise State at 10. And if they lose, they're out.
Yeah.
You have Alabama at 11. And then Miami at 12. Now, see, I want to know why people are so upset with Bama being in at 12 at 9-3, or at 11 at 9-3, because we've seen on like 11 ranked teams 9-3 all the time. Bama definitely had a tough strength of schedule. I mean, they play in the SEC.
I don't know. I've been on Twitter. There's no argument. Over the team.
There's no other team I can argue them.
Like South Carolina would be the only team you could have an argument for, and they lost the head-to-head to Alabama.
Yeah.
So
I'm not upset with this.
But people are like, why isn't Miami? But Miami I don't think has a ranked win. Like, you gotta be.
It's not even that. It's not even like the ranked win. They don't beat on teams either. They haven't since towards the beginning of the year. They've all been close games.
They didn't even in the beginning of the year. They've close games, no ranked wins. They've lost to bad teams. It's like
the only reason they are 10-2 is because of Cam Ward. The dude's a stud. He carries that team. If they didn't have Cam Ward, they're 6-6, maybe. Like, Miami is not a complete team. They have a really good quarterback. So that's my opinion on Miami. It doesn't bother me that Bama's ranked 11th because it's like you said, which team has an argument to be ranked over Bama? Like that's, 10-2, 9-3. Arizona State, they haven't played as tough of a schedule. But I could see them trying to make a case, especially with how strong they have been. And then, like you said, South Carolina, but they lost the head-to-head. So to me, there's really no one else you can argue to put in over Bama unless craziness ensues this weekend.
Don't be mad at us. Be mad that Indiana is number 10 with no ranked wins. Be mad at the teams.
Number 9.
Number 9. Be mad at Indiana, number 9. And then Boise State. Be mad at Boise State, who hasn't played anyone except for Oregon, and they lost. Like, don't be mad.
That was a close game though.
Don't be mad at us because we have 3 ranked wins and like 5 top 40 wins. Don't be mad at us. That's not our.
To me, even if Boise State wasn't ranked 10th, if they win tonight, they're in. Like, they're the highest ranked Group of 5 team out there.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, they don't matter.
So it doesn't matter that they're ranked that high because for them, it's you win and you're in. It would have been that way either way. So it's not like it's a massive deal that they're ranked that high right now.
I think the only other team that's played more good teams than us, I think, is Notre Dame. I don't think there's another, and people are mad. It's like last year they're mad at Bama sneaking in to the playoffs when in reality the spot could have been Texas, because Texas is like in the spot that South Carolina is in this year, because they beat Bama head to head and then they stunk the rest of the year, but they skated by. And Bama had just as good a case to be in the top 4 as anyone last year.
So, and this is what happens when a team wins a lot. It's the same thing that happened to the Patriots when Brady was there. That's why everyone hated Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Hate them because who they are.
Because they win.
Yeah.
They win. You don't like them because they're always winning. You want to see someone else win. Like, I understand that, but that's not a reason to keep teams out of playoffs. That'd be like saying, oh, they've won 6 playoffs. They've, had one of their down years, but they won their division, but they shouldn't be in. That's not how this works. It's not how playoffs works. It's not in the FCS. It doesn't work that way. And you can expand the CFP as much as you want. Yeah. There is always going to be complaining about who's the first out. Same thing with the NCAA tournament in basketball. There's always, they played a stronger schedule or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. To me, this is better because we have humans doing it instead of computers like with the BCS. But, so let's say...
The BCS has Alabama at 11, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So if you went through the BCS rankings, Alabama would still be 11. And, oh my God, UNLV almost just fumbled on their own 10-yard line.
That would have been hilarious. Hey, what's the score?
It's 0-0. Boise State's first drive went a few minutes, but it didn't end up anywhere.
Okay. Let me know if there's a rushing touchdown.
I will.
So let's just go through a couple of scenarios with teams that could maybe possibly fall out. First up, we're going to jump into SMU. To me, they're going to be in either way and should be. Like you said, with everyone hating on Alabama, but the CFP committee really doesn't care. They never have cared.
Oh my God, they fumbled again.
Teams have... Nice.
They just had 2 fumbles in a row that they recovered on their
own. Wow.
It looks,
I like to call that
wet.
luck.
It looks wet in Idaho.
I call that luck, though.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So SMU, they're 11-1. If for some god-awful reason they lose to Clemson, I still don't think Clemson should be in. They will be, but I don't think they should be.
Yeah, let's see who Clemson has beaten this year.
Nobody.
So Clemson has no currently ranked wins.
Louisville wasn't ranked. We talked about that already.
Yeah, they weren't ranked at the time, and they aren't ranked now. And they lost to Louisville unranked, and they lost both their ranked matchups. So if they do end up beating SMU, they'll have 1 ranked win at this point.
And that's going to propel them into the top 12, sadly.
I think since they want to get Bama out, I think that will be there.
It's not even that, because that's the ACC. It is a Power 4 conference. So they're going to want to have at least one of them in. So if they do beat SMU and they don't drop SMU out, then Bama's probably screwed. But to me, that would be Miami getting screwed. Wouldn't that push Miami out?
Miami's not in because it's top 11, and then the winner of the Big 12 championship game gets the last auto bid.
Okay, so pretty much the top. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, so we have the last spot. We're the last one.
So, and this is to your point. We've talked about it before. Teams shouldn't be punished for losing the conference championship.
Right. Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, I don't think SMU is gonna, even if they get crushed, I don't think they're gonna get punished for it. It's just, do they put Clemson in?
See, and we talked about Bama, because even you said that like earlier, that Bama could luck out and get in, but they probably don't deserve it right now because they didn't make the conference championship, whatever. But there's no other team behind them besides Iowa State, Arizona State, Clemson, UNLV that are even in a championship game. Yeah. So I don't understand what the
UNLV's not jumping them, and the Big 12 championship winner is going to be in anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
So basically, this all depends on if the committee decides that if Clemson wins, and assuming they win in a certain fashion, that they think that they're good enough to be above Alabama. I don't think
I don't think
I
they
really
should.
don't think Clemson is going to win. That would just answer everything, and Bama gets in anyways.
So yeah, and here are the teams that are close that I think shouldn't even be anywhere near it. Clemson's 17th, but they're close enough where they probably will make the jump if they win. And then Miami being 12 is something I like to call being super, super overrated. Like we talked about them overrating A&M a lot and stuff, and like Penn State a lot. That is a massive overrated. I think they should be down like maybe 14th, and you jump Ole Miss and South Carolina over them.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're good.
No, I mean it doesn't matter at this point because all those teams are out anyways.
Yeah, no, for sure. But chaos could ensue depending on what happens with the committee and how teams win or lose. Like, if SMU got and I'm not saying this is gonna happen, but say they got beat by 35, they're not gonna be in. The committee's gonna be forced to drop them out. I don't think that's gonna happen, but just for devil's advocacy here, Indiana more than likely won't move because they're not playing in a conference championship, which is just how this is going to have to work because there's not really another way to do it if you're not in a conference championship. Boise State's playing right now. Man, I thought this was going to be a lot crazier than it looks.
They could drop.
Who? Indiana?
No, Boise State.
Oh yeah, Boise State could. If Boise State drops out, do you think that would be enough to propel UNLV in? 5 highest ranked conference champs, right?
Yeah. So who is it's the SEC, ACC, the Big 12 is 15,
the Power
16.
4.
Well, the Power 4 isn't automatically in. So
no. But if the Power 4 team wins this year, they more or less are because of where everyone's ranked right now.
Yeah. So the Mountain West champion, I think, should get in. I think
I think that's how that's going to end up.
They should put UNLV at 14 and then Boise State at 15 and then have UNLV in because they'll get one of the auto bids.
Yeah.
Probably
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand that the Power 4 doesn't get an auto bid, but the Power 4 conference champ, unless something really weird happens,
if
more
Tulane
or less
would
is going
have
to get in.
stayed on their run because they were 17th, I think, at one point, or Army. So the American champ would.
It would take a lot to not get 4 of your the 4 conference champs of the Power 4 in. And because the Big Ten is looking at having 4 teams in right now, and Indiana being ranked 9th, I'm kind of surprised by that. I thought when they lost, they would have not been in the top 10.
I thought they shouldn't have at the time.
Not the way they got beat. If it was a close game, then I could see them being ranked at 10th, but it wasn't really close. First half, the defense played well, and the offense just couldn't do anything. But we'll find out if they deserve to be there or not when the playoffs start.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate test. Once you're there, who cares if people think you should be there or not? You're there. Go play football. I don't know. I think this is a fine ranking right now. I know Indiana might be a little high. Miami's a little high.
Of the teams that are in the playoffs.
Yeah, of the teams. Yeah, of the teams that are in the playoffs, I don't see any egregious the worst one that I said, is Indiana to me. But at the same time too, if you did drop Indiana out, the Big Ten is going to have a fit because you're going to move a 9-3 SEC. And I know the strength of schedule. I know all that. I'm just talking conferences here. If you dropped Indiana out and you brought in another 3-loss SEC team, the Big Ten is going to have a fit, the conference, because of the fact, as much as because college football has put a lot of precedent in the Power 5 or Power 4 now.
Yeah.
They put a lot of precedent where if you're a 1-loss Power 4 team in this, you're more than likely going to make it unless some group of 5 team just comes out of nowhere, which can happen. Cincinnati did it. I know they got crushed by Bama, but it was kind of cool to see a non-power school.
I don't think we're ever going to see a Indiana situation again because of how weak their schedule is. I don't think you're going to get a schedule that weak.
I think they're a good football team, but I don't think they're,
I don't know.
I don't
It's
think
what
top
I've been
10.
saying is that if you know you have a weak schedule, or if you're like getting through the season and you realize that you don't have any really marquee wins,
Mhm.
like you got to win that one big game. Like Indiana has
Yeah.
to win that Ohio State game if they really want to hang their hat on something. So,
Yeah,
Boise State
it-
just scored a
but-
touchdown, a passing touchdown.
Dang it. Anyways, I have them on my other bet too for just winning, so whatever. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm just making the political side of college football. I'm just making that case be made. Because Cam made a comment that if not enough teams from the SEC and the Big Ten don't get in, that they'll just go form their own college football thing. And I said, well, that would be the dumbest thing in the world for either one of those conferences to do that. Because basically it's just going to be the Big Ten SEC playing each other in bowl games. You're not going to play any other team except for Big Ten and SEC teams. So those tune-up games, gone. Because the NCAA is not going to allow any of their schools to compete against two conferences that
Aren't
seceded from the NCAA. So it'd just be Big Ten SEC, which, I mean,
there is a lot of
bug me,
teams, and
but-
if they could figure it out. I think they.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't bug me, but you're not going to get those like massive tune-up games for either conference. Like we do ours at the beginning. You have some at the beginning, then you have one at the end of the year, which is kind of funky, but it's what the SEC has always done. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, like I said, I don't have a ton of gripes with the rankings. Like I said, Indiana might be the worst one, but the problem is after you get outside of Boise State, the only one-loss team ranked right now outside of them is Army. So I think they're just putting, since they're 11-1 and played in a power conference, I think that's why they held Indiana where they were. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's why they did it. Because,
All
like I
right,
said, I think
we're yapping. Let's.
Yeah, we'll wrap her up here. Sorry, guys. I was just trying to fill time because I enjoy talking football. But anyways, we will see you here next week when we go over the results from the conference championships and talk about the final CFP.
I'm gonna go
talk about
undefeated.
the final CFP rankings.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm going undefeated. It's not even close. So we'll see y'all here on probably Tuesday.